Hi friend, welcome to Lemon Yellow Art Studio. My name is Tia and I'll be your art teacher today. So let's get started. So here's a little closer look at our project. You can see we're going to be using some acrylic paint, some sparkly paper, some markers, and of course a pom-pom. So yeah, before we get started, I'm going to go over some of the supplies you will need for today's project. So here's all the supplies laid out for you. First up, we've got some green masking tape. You can get this at any hardware store. Then we've got some scissors. And these are our drawing supplies. So we've got a black chisel tip Sharpie, a purple water-based marker, and a white paint pen. Then we've got a glue stick. I like the purple glue, a white acrylic paint. Then I have this little sponge, and this is a piece of palette paper. You can also use parchment paper for our paint. Then I've got a sparkly sheet of white paper, and then on the back I just drew the circles for our ears and our eyes, and then this is the shape for the snout or the nose. Then I've got a little round piece of black paper for our black nose, and these are the little triangles for our bow and a pom-pom for our bow center. So before we get started, we have to secure our page to the table, or I have a piece of hardboard here, but table is just fine. The tape is going to hold our paper in place and keep it from getting all bubbly and wavy, and so the paint will dry nice and flat. Perfect. So now I'm taping just my palette paper to the table so it doesn't move around, and then I'm going to grab my little sponge and squirt out a bit of paint. You probably don't need quite as much as I have, but alas, there we go. Then I'm going to apply some of the paint on my sponge and tap off the excess paint so I don't have a big glob when I start to create some dots. And I'm just going to dot away and create the shape of our polar bear. Now you're going to kind of fill in all the areas. I don't really want to see any white paper peeking through. And so I'm just going to apply the paint all over. Now the most important thing is to give our bear those features that make it a bear. So I'm going to add 2 ears and just the round kind of oval shape for the face. And there we go. So now this has to dry. It'll probably take about 15 or 20 minutes. So while that's drying, we're going to cut out our shapes for our eyes and our ears. And there we go. That was very fast. So I'm going to gather all my little things, and then we're going to stick them on the bear once it's all dry. So I fast forwarded a little bit and my bear is nice and dry now. So we're going to grab our glue stick and just start to glue all of our pieces, our features, onto our polar bear. Now I like the purple glue because I can see exactly where I put all the glue on the back. And then we're going to place it where we want. And this is important. You want to press down on the whole piece of paper for at least like 5 or 10 seconds so that it will adhere to our paper and we won't get any kind of curling happening. So I'm just going to go around and put all of my pieces in the correct spots. So the bigger circles are for our ears. So I'm just going to put those there. And then the smaller little circles are for our eyes. And then the little black nose goes right kind of above our center of the snout that we have there. So now that we are done gluing all of our pieces where they're supposed to go, and they're nice and flat, we're going to close our glue stick Make sure that doesn't dry out. And then we're going to grab our Sharpie and draw our little mouth. And it's just two little J shapes almost. And then we're going to draw our eyeballs, pupils in our eyes. And you'll notice I left like a little small circle in my eye so that it looks like there's a bit of shininess happening and like my eyes are glistening. And then we're just going to color in some of the ear as well because the ear is a little bit dark. And then I'm going to add some little dots where the whiskers might be. I know polar bears don't have big whiskers, but they probably have little tiny hairs. And then we're going to glue our little bow. So you can decide where you want your bow to go. I put mine right below my chin, but if you want to put your bow in your polar bear's ears or on top of its head, you can. It's totally up to you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And then did I leave a little space between my, yes, I did. You want to leave a bit of room between your two triangles for the pom-pom that we're going to put right in the middle. So yeah, once those are nice and secure, I'm going to put a dot of glue right in the middle. One thing to note is you don't want to put your triangles on top of your tape. Remember, we have the tape there, and we're going to take that off once everything is done and we're glued. So yeah, make sure you hold your pom-pom for 5 or 10 seconds. Make sure it's going to take a little while to dry. And then I forgot that I wanted to add a little bit of eyebrows, even though in real life polar bears don't have eyebrows. This is kind of a cartoony polar bear, so we're going to give it some eyebrows. And then you're free to take off all the tape. This is the most satisfying part. You'll notice it's going to leave a nice clean line at the bottom. Perfect. Lovely. So for the final touch, we're going to grab our white paint marker and we're going to create some snow with little polka dots just all over the blue page. Now you can add as many polka dots as you want, as much snow. There's no limit. It's whatever you want. So I'm just pushing very gently with my paint pen. You don't want to push too hard because then all the paint's going to come squirting out, which is not what we want. So there we go. I'm happy with my paint. And then I'm going to grab a purple marker. And this is the last little detail for our bow. So we're just going to add some creases. I made two little lines, like a V shape almost, coming out from the center. And that just kind of gives it a bit more detail. And there we are. There's our polar bear all done. One thing I didn't do was add some eyelashes to my polar bear. You're welcome to do that. Otherwise, this is it. Great job. I'd love to see your polar bear, so definitely send us a message or comment below and I will reply. Thanks so much for joining me. I had so much fun making this project. I hope you did too. And I guess I'll see you in the next one.